Bet on Bears fans, another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat, the designer, Shea Norling sitting in today for Courtney. Oh boy, this is going to be fun because I believe the last time me and you were on a show together,
we were screaming
at each other. It was all love, but there was a difference of opinion. I was on the you can build around Justin Fields side. You were on you can't build around him and build the team out.
Who won?
I mean,
I'm just saying,
if we're being real about this, we can get into that right off the bat. If we're being real about this, you could have kept Justin and had the team that you currently have.
Well, sure.
That was the whole debate. The whole debate was, can you build a team around Justin Fields?
Well, yeah, no, like physically, yes, you can.
Yeah,
can you build a team
you could have built this team. Now, it would have been a lot on Justin Fields.
Correct. That's my point. Like, yes, you physically can. Like, I can physically build the Falcons around Desmond Ridder. Is that the right idea? No, of course not. You can build the Jets around Zach Wilson. It doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, but I think the money aspect that was coming in was where the debate was going a little awry, and we would have been fine money-wise heading into next year if we had kept Justin. But now you're in a better situation.
Would you have been fine heading into 2025 and 2026? That's where the question
arises. Contracts coming off the book. Ryan Poles has some good signings here.
$25 million up for Justin Fields. You got to commit big money to him in 26. Caleb Williams lets you not do any of that.
Yeah, this is true. You're definitely in a better place financially. Let's hope we're in a better place quarterback-wise. We got to see a little bit of Caleb Williams, so we got to touch on that. Also, just looking at the rest. 4 picks left in this draft. What do we need most in this draft to kind of, get this team to where we feel like, no, you should be dominating right now? We got to talk about all that on today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Shea coming in fiery. Shea coming in. He's ready. He was ready to go. I love it though.
I got 1 speed. I do not have a 5-speed manual. I got an automatic.
You got automatic
to drive.
Yes. I'm not mad at it. And when I guess let's start here. When you see Caleb yesterday throwing the football the way that he did, I didn't take anything crazy away from the pro day. But when you see him, to say it looked easy is an understatement. He flicked his wrist and the ball went 65 yards. Into the hands of Brendan Rice. What was your takeaway from his pro day? Where do you put that as far as stock and what the player is?
Don't care at all.
At all. Thank you. All right. I was going to be nervous.
I do not care at all. It better look easy. You're in gym shorts. Yeah. You're at your home stadium. You're throwing to receivers who you're comfortable with. You have your offensive coordinator. I don't know how it actually works, but like offensive coaches you're comfortable with scripting out what you're going to do. It better look easy. Yeah. If your pro day's bad, you're terrible. So, like, watching him do fake play actions to ghosts, watching Brendan Rice, like, stiff arm invisible players as he catches the ball and takes off down the field.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do with that as a fan? What's way more important to me is how he engaged with the media after the fact, the willingness to look. I didn't think he was great on Coward, but I also thought Coward, frankly, was trying to trap him a little bit.
Yeah, Coward's not good either.
I didn't I'm going to just say that.
That's just me.
And I like Colin Coward typically. I think he does a very good show. But I took a huge issue with the question where he basically said to Caleb, is all the scrambling because you like to do it, or is it a result of your offensive line? What are you asking this kid to trash his offensive line for? Yeah. Watch the games. Yeah. We all know his offensive line at USC was horrific. He lost 3 starters from 22 to 23. He was running for his life. We can watch the games and gather that information. I don't need Caleb to trash his teammates because if he had done it, what would have happened?
Oh, God.
We would have gotten headline
after
headline.
Yes.
Caleb Williams, horrible teammate, threw his offensive line under the bus. I know what Colin's trying to do there. Credit to Caleb not taking the bait. Credit to Caleb going on that show at all. Credit to how he handled the appearance on NFL Network after the fact. Everything that we're hearing out of how he's interacted with Poles in the front office and everybody from the Bears dapping up Keenan Allen, that all looked good. No attitude issues. And then the little tidbit. This was actually, it's stupid, but it did mean something to me on Twitter. Pardon me, I can't remember the guy's name, but talked to a player at USC, asked about not playing in the bowl game against Louisville. And the story is Caleb was ready to go. He wanted to play in the game and realized, look, USC is going to be a popular destination. Guys want to play with Lincoln Riley. Think about Jalen Hurts, transferred into Oklahoma to be with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Caleb knows it better than anybody. Left Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley to keep playing for him. He knows USC is going to be a hotspot destination. So instead of playing in the bowl game and opening up the door for a guy like, well, not Malachi Moore, he's the backup on USC. Somebody like Will Rogers, kid who transferred to Ohio State, to say, I want to play with Lincoln Riley and go to USC. No, instead of doing that, let's let Miller Moss ball out, take my spot, and he can stake his claim as the starter here next season. Your teammate of the year.
Yeah.
Forget about bad teammate. You're the best teammate. Elevating the people behind you in a competitive sport like this, that I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, I think that I took more from the media and his interaction with his teammates after than I took from his entire pro day. I could care less about you. I want to see you be able to throw the deep pass to Brendan Rice, but I saw that.
Right.
I watched it during the season. I
Right.
saw you be able to
That's
hit
my
him
point.
down the field. I don't care about that. My biggest thing is, what are your teammates doing after? We've seen the scenarios where it's like, all right, he's gone. Like, all right, cool. We did the pro day. Let's get the heck up out of here.
Yeah.
And like the quarterback really doesn't interact. He's like playing around. Offensive lineman is wrestling with it. Relax. First off, relax. I'll be throwing my quarterback around. He's gonna deal with that enough being a Chicago Bear. But
Seriously.
let's not go slamming him around. But like how he dealt with that and then how he talked in the media after, like you talked about, I think I'm not gonna lie to you. The chuckle to me when Colin asked him the offensive line question, I said, this will be one of the last 2 times he'll ever be on Colin Cowherd's show.
If I were him,
can
I'd
almost
never go on
guarantee
again.
it.
I would never go on again.
There'll probably be one more because Colin's very West Coast and he'll be able to work something out. And he'll say, you know what, I'll have an opportunity to kind of, play the media game. And this is a huge show. But I guarantee once he's actually the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, he will never be on Colin Cowherd's show again.
He'll be too busy doing the Chicago Bears podcast with Pat the designer.
Right,
Speaking of which, Pat the designer, I heard you are going to be the designer of Justin Fields' new home in Pittsburgh.
Wow, that would be nice. Do we do
rumor
a little black and yellow on that? Or
you should.
I don't know what.
Set him up nice.
I
Your
think,
boy.
Listen, I have no problems with Justin Fields, and the one thing that I love about the trade that does go down, I think he could have been successful here, but you make the trade, and if we got to design a crib for him over there, that's fine, because he's going to be in a great situation. That's what Ryan Poles keeps doing. There are people out here trying to trash Ryan Poles because now they traded away their favorite quarterback. That's fine. Listen, you want to be upset that Justin Fields is gone. I'm okay with that. I was a little upset, but guess what? He's gone now. We have to move on. It's okay to embrace the next quarterback coming in. Here's my thing. He traded him to a situation where Russ is on a $1 million contract. How much does $1 million worth of loyalty get you in the NFL? You know what I mean? I don't care.
Listen, man.
I don't care who Russell Wilson is. $1 million worth of loyalty is like, we appreciate you driving up to Pittsburgh this week, dog. We may start Justin. Like, there's a real chance there. So, like, I'm not going to Pittsburgh. I'm not leaving the team. I survived through Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton, Jay Cutler. I can live through anything.
Well, and like my thing with it too is you bring up a great point about how far does $1 million worth of loyalty take you in the NFL. I'll go a step further. NFL's a cold fucking world, man. I mean, you think about Aaron Jones restructuring his deal so he could stay in Green Bay and be comfy and play on a team that could win something with the Packers. What's his reward? Get out. Like Joe Mixon, same deal.
Yeah.
Took less money so that he could stay in Cincinnati. The reward, sorry, buddy, we're done with you. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
Now he's on a lesser deal in Houston. So you just think about like the loyalty that there is in the NFL. It doesn't exist. The teams don't care about the players.
Yeah.
That goes,
especially if you're new to the team.
That goes both ways though for me too, because if it comes out eventually, and maybe it won't, the way Brad Biggs has reported on this is more in line with the market for Justin Fields really wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a case of Poles sitting on his hands. It was a case of every deal he was getting was bad. And so if they're all equally bad, you might as well put the player in a situation where he can maybe thrive. If that's the way it happened, whatever. But if we do ever get the reporting that Ryan Poles was offered a better return for Justin Fields and turned it down because didn't think it was as good of a situation as Pittsburgh. That's not a way to run a football team. Loyalty does not exist in this league. And I get that you want to have the reputation of
Yeah.
being player friendly. You know, you build the reputation of being player friendly. You pay Jalen Johnson. You get Keenan Allen in and you extend him if that's the way you choose to do things. But I always think, like, if you're worrying about how players view you in free agency, worry about your wallet, not the way you've treated players that you've had to send elsewhere.
I think here's the thing though. To me, it all goes into how confident are you in the guy you're bringing in to replace him. The problem that the Bears have had in that area is they'll go, we're not going to be loyal to you. You get the heck out of here. We don't need you.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have a nice life. And then the replacement that they bring in, you're like, this guy's worse.
Well,
This is a mountain fall off here.
Packers fans are going to experience that this year because I'm telling you, going for kicking Aaron Jones out of there, and now he's on Minnesota,
Yeah.
and you brought in Josh Jacobs. Best of luck. God bless. You brought in a guy got 3.5 yards of carry last year. He's on the wrong side of 26, where running backs historically fall off. Packers fans are in for a raw deal with that one. I mostly like their offseason.
We'll see.
The Josh Jacobs deal, boy, that's rough to me.
Listen, anything.
I'm glad the Bears didn't do it.
I'll tell you this: anything where you're paying running backs is rough to me. Like, we got DeAndre Swift in here, and I'm still like, he's gonna be a good player, and I'm gonna be mad he's making $7 million the entire year.
Yeah.
Like, I just am. It's just like I think you could have just said, and I think we watched this with the Bears last year. Well, they were predictable. You knew who was going to be. You just turn around and give the football to Khalil Herbert 20 times a game, and he usually figured it out. You turn around, you keep Deontay Foreman, give it to him 20 times a game. Just stop doing this 10 for you, 10 for you, 10 for you thing. But DeAndre Swift's going to be a good player here. $7 million, a little expensive for my blood.
Me too.
With Josh Jacobs.
I tell you, I don't like him at all, Swift.
Really?
We'll get to that in a
Really?
moment. Yeah, give me your Josh Jacobs thoughts.
Josh Jacobs to me has been woefully underutilized. I think he will have a pop year here in Green Bay. And I think that long term, it may be one of those deals that you look at and go, we could have kept Aaron Jones. But then again, in the long term, I would have also gotten rid of Aaron Jones. So, like, to me, it's just like, did you not have a spare 5th-round pick laying around that you could spend on one of the millions of running backs that are coming out every single year? You can't tell me that you can't find running backs. The Bears have done it a million times in the 4th, 5th, 3rd rounds. Like, you can get these guys at any point, and it's no disrespect to the players that are playing. It's just that's where the NFL market is. Saquon Barkley getting $15 million from the Eagles.
Good for them. It would have been bad for me.
No. Here's the problem: who's snapping the football?
Yeah, Jason Kelsey retired.
Your starting Hall of Fame center is not there, and you're worried about getting running backs in the room.
And the Bears know better than anybody, man. Like, finding a center ain't easy.
Yeah.
It can be a tough gig, man. Replacing Olin Kreutz has proved difficult. You lose one of those Hall of Fame caliber greatest of all time centers.
Yeah.
I have a heart. Look, I'm high on the Eagles this year. I think they can bounce back. Now we're getting off track. Nobody cares. We're not doing Philly radio. But I'll just say the idea that their offensive line is going to stay the same when they lost a Hall of Fame center, I'm not sold on that. They got an upgrade at running back. Here's my Swift deal.
Yeah.
My DeAndre Swift issue is this. And people think, like, Shea, you're so negative about everything all the time. What do you actually like? I like the Keenan Allen deal. You went out and got a guy who's got a bad injury history, sure, but that was really, frankly, years ago. 4 of the last 5 seasons, a guy who caught 100 passes.
Yeah.
He's going to be a huge asset as a wide receiver too, I think, in this offense. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, you've got 2 really outside guys who Justin Fields can feel comfortable with. Justin Fields. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Look at you.
I'm doing radio a week
Look at
ago.
you.
You got 2 outside guys, Caleb
But
Williams.
Justin Fields could have felt comfortable with them, and here we go. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Caleb Williams is going to feel comfortable with. It's just this Freudian fucking slip, man. It's going to keep happening for a little bit. No, you got 2 outside receivers. Caleb Williams can feel comfy. Cole Kmet, I think, is a good tight end. I think you're building a good offense. My problem with DeAndre Swift is this. I think you invested money in a position where you didn't upgrade. I don't think DeAndre Swift is better than Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert's younger. Khalil Herbert gets more yards per carry, 4.5 yards per carry behind a middle-of-the-pack offensive line a year ago. DeAndre Swift was bottom 15 in the league in rush yards over expected, behind the 3rd best offensive line run blocking in the league.
Yeah.
So I just look at a guy who performed below expectation behind an elite group What's he going to do when he's behind an average group? If he's going to perform below expectation behind this group, he's 3 in your running back room despite making the most money. That's the
Yeah.
problem for me.
I'm not mad at that. The one thing that I would say is while not as involved in it as much, it maybe gets involved in the passing game more here in Chicago than
Sure,
he's
as
ever
a
been in his
receiver,
game.
yeah.
And when he's trying to when you're picking guys to throw to, right, where Khalil Herbert is more of a 50s to 60% catch percentage guy, you've got DeAndre Swift, who's more of a 60 to 70% catch percentage guy.
Totally
I think
fair.
it's more of that than anything.
Yeah, and if you look at the way they're building this offense, I mean, we know Shane Waldron wants to air it out. We know he kind of wants to get some running backs involved in the passing game.
By the way, all three of these guys are going to be underutilized. We're going to hate how we run the football halfway through the season.
And
I'm letting people know this now.
It's not going to be a run-heavy offense. Like, if you're thinking this is going to be Chicago Bear wing T football, we're going to run the ball. Like, this is probably going to be a 55 to 45 or 60-40 pass run kind of offense.
I'd go 65-35 when you look at
maybe,
Seattle last year.
Built on the way Shane Waldron likes to do things and the way he's built up the weapons. You've got a guy in DeAndre Swift with a high catch percentage. You've got a guy in Gerald Everett who was top 25 in catch rate. In fact, Gerald Everett, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, all top 25 in catch rate a year ago. This is an offense that's going to want to throw the football. They're going to want to maximize what Caleb Williams can do. And if you watch Caleb Williams in college, my biggest criticism when I did his breakdown the other day on Cap and J Hood was he's all shotgun. He's all starting in the pocket, quick read. It's not a lot of single back.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of under center. He's not doing a lot of dropbacks. If you think Waldron's going to bring him in and ask him off rip, get under center and be handing the ball off a ton, not a chance. It's going to be a lot of play action out of shotgun. It's going to be a lot of just straight 3-step drops out of shotgun. We're not going to have to worry too much early on, in my opinion, that Caleb's going to be under center handing this ball off. They want to throw.
I think that's the biggest part that is the question with college to the NFL now, too, right? Like, nobody was really under center. You know what I mean? Like, I guess JJ probably more than anybody this season.
Well, that's because he didn't throw the fucking football.
You know what I mean?
That's my thing with JJ McCarthy.
Oh,
he's so well developed as a quarterback. And I'm like, well, he's under center. He's great handing it off. He throws the ball 18 times a game. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Like, that's where the coaching comes in. And the one thing that is sad to me about the whole Justin Fields situation, I said this on my show, the Windy City Breeze, that we gave coaches the excuse to not coach. And I don't want to see that with Caleb Williams. And I think we do that too often. 3 years in, we're getting rid of a young quarterback that everybody can see a talent in because, we've got money attached to him. We'll change the money that you're going to attach to him. If he doesn't want to take the money you're offering, that's a different scenario. But you pay people based on their production. But we're telling people that it's okay not to be coached well. It's okay not to be a good coach. We're saying that Matt Eberflus's whole 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks things last year. That's horrible coaching to me. And I was pissed off about it last year because, are those numbers cool? Yeah, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Fine. What NFL team is winning with a quarterback throwing 2 touchdowns? Because Justin Fields did it. Justin Fields did it.
Mahomes did it a lot.
Well, the defense, though, right? Like you've seen the switch there.
But his whole career, it's not like Mahomes is always a 4 or 5 touchdown guy. There's a lot of games. I actually thought the Eberflus thing was fine. If you are and Mahomes is the all-time great, you can't hang everybody on that level of expectation. But to me, his single greatest skill set is avoiding sacks.
Yeah.
He never gets sacked. He might be the greatest at it in NFL history. Think about a guy like Josh Allen.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers still out there.
Sure, Aaron Rodgers. But
Aaron
again,
Rodgers still out there.
You think about the great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Brady didn't get sacked. Mahomes doesn't get sacked. Rodgers doesn't get sacked. Josh Allen, everybody talks about, he turned into this elite runner and the accuracy came true in his 3rd year. You know what else was the thing? Is in his 2nd season, he got sacked on 7.5% of his dropbacks.
Yeah.
In his 3rd season, he got sacked on 4.5%.
Yeah.
He is, and I challenge anybody on this, he is the only quarterback you will ever find that in year 3 dropped his sack rate from an unacceptable 7 to a very acceptable 4.5. And it's almost impossible. It's like the one statistic, and I will always say this, sacks are a quarterback stat.
Yeah.
When you change the quarterback, great example. Fields goes out, Bagent comes in. The offensive line doesn't change at all. Bagent got sacked on 3.5% of his dropbacks. I'm not telling you Bagent was a better quarterback. I'm telling you got sacked less.
He held the football less.
When
Yeah.
when Tom Brady went from the great offensive line in New England in his final 2 seasons to Tampa Bay, where he still had a pretty good offensive line, Tristan Wirfs on that line, the sack rate stayed identical. The entire offensive line changed. The sack rate stayed the same. A guy like Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay got sacked a bunch. So I'm just saying, it's the one statistic that it stays true to the quarterback. It never changes with the offensive line. That is a quarterback issue. And Josh Allen's the only one to my mind that really altered it enough. Fields still gets sacked on 10.5% of his dropbacks.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to move on.
You're holding on to the football too long, and that's what the reason Brady stays the same is right. We heard that the what is it 2.5 second timer,
Yeah.
and a horn just blares that's a sack. It's too late, and I think that was the one concern. It's one thing I'm going to be watching for with Caleb Williams that when we go to training camp this year. I remember being in training camp last year, and you watch Justin drop back, and not to say you weren't seeing growth and development from him, but there were plays where you just go sack, sack, sack. He should have been sacked 4 times on this play. Like you got to get rid of that ball. Like
Right.
you cannot hold on to the ball.
Tom Thayer told you, throw it,
throw it. I love Thayer. That was probably the best moment from this season. But I do agree with that the quarterback can definitely affect the sack number. I think that Justin's sack number being as high as it is does go to the offensive line, though, because everything affects
part of it.
How quickly Justin Fields gets the ball off. And this is the biggest issue that I have with Caleb Williams, why I think we still need to address center in the draft and try and find that long-term guy, because a second can be, you snap the football, it's about to go over my head. I got to play Javi Baez here in the middle of the field. Go get it. Now I got to get down, reset myself, try and figure out where the heck my receivers are at, because everybody's further down the field than I thought they were going to be. Right? Like, my issue with keeping Justin was never that you had to go out there and put a perfect team around him, but it was go out there and give him a scenario where he can be successful in, and then we can judge him. I still have the same feeling about Caleb, but guess what? Caleb's walking in to probably the greatest team a first overall pick has ever walked into.
Bingo.
So guess what he's going to get to do? Oh, man, things aren't going as I thought they were. Keenan Allen. Oh, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting him to be there, right?
Well,
or DJ Moore, one of the greatest. We saw last year, the play didn't go how we thought. DJ just makes something happen. Get the football to him.
Well, and like full circle the point, because you brought up how by moving on from Justin Fields, we gave this kind of coaches don't have to coach anymore. It's okay for coaches to get away with that. And the way I approached last year was when you brought in DJ Moore and you drafted Darnell Wright. It was my no excuses season for Justin Fields. And so I'm starting to think, okay, now this year you have this incredible team. You're bringing in this quote unquote generational quarterback. Now it's the no excuses for Matt Eberflus, because I can flip what you said about giving coaches excuses not to coach.
Yeah.
I can flip it right around and say, if you had kept Fields, you're saying it's okay for players to be mediocre.
I don't know if you're saying it's okay for players to be mediocre, because I think the scenario that Fields was in it wasn't just Justin Fields saying that the coaching was inadequate. We went through a season where everybody slammed Justin when he said it, right? He threw the coach under the bus. Fair. He hates this guy. And then Ryan Poles said that coaching was inadequate by firing everyone. Yep. Matt Eberflus during the season was like, we have to push the football down the field more. DJ Moore says we got to get the ball in our best weapon's hands. Darnell Mooney says we got to get the ball in our best weapon hands. Chase Claypool just said, I'm not being used right. I think he went about it the wrong way, but he's not here anymore.
Well, I think DJ Moore's line was, we can only run our routes, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we can do.
Like,
and I don't know if that's a shot at the route concepts or a shot at the quarterback, but it's like, it's clear something wasn't right on the offense. We can only hope that
you moved on from all of it. So I mean, listen, like, I think Ryan Poles said it all was inadequate, to the point where I have to make a decision here financially and moving forward for the best interest of the team. So we got Caleb coming in. Let's do our road to the draft here real quick before we get up out of here. Shea, Toyota road to the draft. Let's go places, baby. You're on the clock. We have 4 draft picks here. In this scenario, you cannot trade.
Oh, fuck you. Come on. I don't want to have 4 picks.
I've done the trade back scenario. We can't ask that question again. In this scenario, you cannot trade. You have 1, you have 9, you currently have a 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick. What are you doing? And one of those picks for sure, I'm sure you're going Caleb Williams here.
I really can't trade.
Can't trade. You got to go straight up on this one.
Well, at 1, I'm going Caleb Williams.
Of
I mean, you're
course.
putting my feet to the fire here,
Yeah.
saying I can't trade.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong on a bookend edge rusher for Montez Sweat being my number 1 priority right now. So I'm getting Caleb 1. If I can't move back, then I'm just going to bite the bullet, reach, and draft Jared Verse at 9.
You don't think Dallas Turner falls? I think who knows what the mocks are, but Dallas Turner is like,
I'm a Jared Verse guy.
you like Verse better than Dallas
Yeah,
in general.
One of my, and it might be stupid, it might be a hot take, whatever. One of my things with this is I think if it had been Florida State instead of Alabama in the playoff, Jared Verse would be the guy moving up, not Dallas Turner. I think I
can see that.
A lot of people missed an
that.
opportunity to see Jared Verse play on a huge stage. I watched him all season. I was really high on this Florida State team at a future, not that it matters, on them to win the national title. That obviously died when the quarterback went down, but that guy's an absolute game wrecker. And I think if you have an opportunity to put somebody like that on the opposite side of Montez Sweat, then in 4 years when Montez Sweat's money comes up, you just transfer it on over to Jared Verse and you draft another one. Like I think you're setting yourself up really nicely for the future if that's the way you want to go.
You've got the 75th pick in the 3rd round.
Knows, man, don't do this to me.
Come on, dog. You're the college guy, dog. Who's going to be in that range?
I don't know. It's 75. I was talking to
What position would you want to target there? Instead of a specific player, what position would you want to target that far down?
I was talking to Carmen yesterday, and there's a part of me that, like, CJ Stroud got drafted at Houston, right? And went to the front office, supposedly, based on some stories, and was like, this 3rd round pick, you got to trust me, take Tank Dell. I want Tank Dell. And part of me is kind of like, I don't love Brendan Rice as a player, but if Caleb comes to you and he's like, because he does need time, the time to build rapport with DJ Moore and build rapport with Keenan Allen. If he comes to Ryan Poles and he's like, look, man, I'm telling you, Brendan Rice is a fantastic player. I'm comfortable with him. We know each other. He can play the slot for us. I wouldn't hate taking a wide receiver there. And if it's one that Caleb knows and is comfortable with, I'm good with it. Like, I think mocks have moved him up a little bit. He might not be available that deep, but Roman Wilson out of Michigan is intriguing to me. Brendan Rice going to be in that 3rd, 4th round range. That's intriguing to me. There are some other guys. So I think if you want wide receiver, now that you got Keenan Allen, I'm less inclined to do it at 9, unless it really is a 1-year deal and then whatever.
Neighbors is there.
I'd feel better doing it in the 3rd round.
Okay. So are you attacking line at all?
Offensive line?
Or offensive line at all in this?
Well, you told me I can't trade.
Yeah, you can't trade.
If I could have traded, we'd have Jackson Powers Johnson playing center. But you told me I can't trade. So what do you want me to do?
All right. I'm not mad at that. We'll take it into consideration. Shay, appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate you rocking with us, man. I love talking with you every time because it's always fiery, feisty, and we literally just think differently. Like, this is the one thing I love about doing a show with Shay. It's like we can see the same team and we can look at it from opposite angles and just go, no, this team is this. Yeah. No, this team is this. So I love doing the show with you every time. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as well and watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For Shea Norling, I am Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Bear down, Chicago. Let us know how you guys feel about Caleb Williams' pro day. Comments